Hello learners and viewers, welcome to this session. Today's topic is gender distribution in organization. This topic is part of the course Gender, Organization and Leadership. This course is second year elective courses. Learners who have joined in July 2023 and previous sessions, now they must have re-registered their second year courses and they need to learn this course as a part of the elective. This course is a 4-credit course and it has 3 blocks. The block 1 specifically introduces the organization, that is, it describes us the organization, it explains the organizational policies and practices. It also talks about the organizational goals, vision, mission, and unit 4 is in the block 1 is organizational diagnosis. The second block specifically we have designed to introduce the concept of leadership, and it has 3 units. All 3 units talks about the types of leadership, theories of leadership, styles of leadership, and how the leadership really help or facilitate to combat international or global challenges. And third unit, that is about the training and capacity building. The capacity building is very important. So specifically, after introducing the organization and leadership, the third block specifically we have introduces the capacity building for leadership. The third block also has 3 units. The unit talks about the systems approach for training and various role of government and non-governmental organization roles in training the specifically women leaders, as well as the how to build the capacity among women leaders and strategies for leadership training. This is I have introduced the entire course. Today we are going to specifically discuss about the topic gender distribution in organization. This topic comes under the block 3 and we after introducing the specifically about the organization and leadership, it is important to know whether the organizations are gendered. If it's not gendered, why the women are facing lots of problems in any organizations. How do we address those issues through various measures? That is what one must understand that. To know about whether organization is gendered or not, this unit specifically designed and introduced. Let us start about the introduction of that unit. Unit starts with any organization. If you take any organization, the work of the organization is concrete forms of society's systematic efforts to realize its various goals and objectives. That is the main work. Then society fashions them in its own image. If you take any organization and institutions, society has perceived those organizations in its own way. And most of the time, if you take organization, it is a prototype of the properties of any culture. Whatever the culture the particular society follows, same thing mostly it reflects in an organization also. If you talk about organization in other words, it's like a mini culture. Organization is a mini culture within a larger culture. Although the process of formation of any culture, whatever the culture we follow in a particular society, same culture, the organization also most of the time it occurs and along with that certain properties, organization themselves forms certain kinds of objectives. Let us see what are those objectives. One is that it has a physical artifacts in terms of structure and technology. It has systems and procedures, social and work relationship. Certainly like a society, within an organization also, individuals, they socialize themselves, as well as there is a relationship between individuals, because organizations consist of not only about the procedures, it also consists of the individuals. Individuals themselves, they interact with each other, and there is a relationship between individual within an organization. Those relationship, those interaction certainly will build any organization. So the pattern of behavior of employees and underlining all the values and beliefs and assumption about how people organize themselves and relate with each other and perform goals. These are the some of the components when organizational forms. Okay, along with whatever the culture the particular society follows, that same culture it reflects in an organization. Along with those culture, it also, the organization also consists of the following components, whatever we have discussed about that. Next important thing about organization we need to talk about is that Sinha in 1990 identifies the following components of the organizational culture. One is that organizational mission, goals, objectives and underlying philosophy of management. Second one is that organizational structure, systems, work forms, technology, financial resources and other physical artifacts. Third one is role relations, whatever the like a gender roles. In every organization, each individuals they perform certain roles. So that role relations, power, authority, structures, leadership and other aspects of work and social relations. Employees' work and non-work behavior inside an organization. Whatever employees behave, how do they behave? Already each employee, they might have socialized in a certain way. For their socialization, various social institutions play a significant role, like a family and other social institutions in the society. They play a significant role for the socialization of any individual employees. That will reflect the same socialization process reflect within an organization also. So that's why we are calling organization is the prototype of the larger culture. If there is a larger culture, organization is the within a larger culture, it's a mini culture. Employees' beliefs, values regarding work compared with other life roles, like such a beliefs, values regarding family, society, leisure, community, religion, everything it reflects in the organizational culture. Now, I hope you could able to understand that organization, when you talk about the organization as we all know that it is the prototype of the larger culture. Once we understand that any organization, certainly it reflects the culture of the particular society or particular particular area, whatever the culture they follow, same thing it reflects in an organization also. With this understanding, today we are going to discuss the theory of gendered organization. What is gendered organization? Why do we need to talk about the gender organization? The second significant objective is to analyze the feminist debate on gender organization. Why feminist? Specifically, they have discussed about the organization and why do they want to reflect feminist values within an organization. These are the two objectives in this session we are going to discuss. First, let us start with theory of gendered organization. In the theory of gendered organization, Ocker argues that unless one perceives the organization as a gendered construct, it is impossible to understand the nuances of gender hierarchies within an organization. This statement or this study clearly points out that one needs to perceive organization as from a gendered perspective, or we need to say that organization is a gendered construct. Then only we could able to understand the existing gender hierarchies within an organization. Secondly, he clearly points out that organizational structure is not gender neutral. Always we say that most of the organization we call it as gender neutral. Once we start talking about the talking in terms of gender neutral, then it is impossible to understand the issues of male, female and other genders within an organization. We consider that whatever policies the organization make, that those policies certainly will benefit everyone in an organization. But that is the wrong consumption or wrong notions. So we need to perceive any organization as a gender organization. Like for example, how the organization construct within itself, and how do we unravel the existing gender relations within an organization that play a significant role to understand the existing relations within an organization. For example, existing relation means, and how the gender operates within an organization means, first we need to look at the existing organizational structure and who will occupy the decision making level. For example, if any organization, there will be a highest body to take all the decisions. In that highest body, one must see that whether all genders could able to represent in that highest decision making body. If they are not able to represent, then we cannot call it particular organization as organization reflects the existing gender issues. That one cannot say that. Then we can call it as gender neutral. In that way, certainly whatever the society perceives, the existing society is patriarchal in nature, same patriarchy will reflect within an organization also. Second one is that organization structure themselves by obscuring the embodied nature of work. Like every organization, if you take, there is an abstract jobs and hierarchies, common concepts in organizational thinking. Assume a disembodied and universal worker. The worker, any worker within an organization, usually men's body, sexuality and relationship to procreation and paid work are subsumed in the image of the worker. If you image the worker in any organization, immediately what comes to our mind is that it's a male. That itself, we could able to say that organization isn't gender neutral. Image of men's bodies and masculinity pervade in organizational process, marginalization of women and contributing to the maintenance of gender segregation in organization. Automatically, when we talk about the gender segregation, male members, they may occupy a decision making level. The female, they in any organizational structure, they may occupy the lowest position where they may not be able to take any decision, even though when they are not in a position to take decision, their needs will not reflect in the organizational decision making. The persisting of gender neutral and disembodied organizational structures and work relations is part of the larger strategy of control in industrial capitalist society. As you know, all of you know that you were already read about the liberal feminism and other feminist thinkers, where we have critically and also our coursework elaborately talk about the neoliberal economic policies and the production and reproductive relations in the capitalist societies. That whatever the capitalist society, they want to maintain the existing various social institutions, including family, marriage and other social institutions. And as far as capitalist society is concerned, they want to make the male members to be part of the existing production relations, and they consider female as a reserve army. Whenever there is an requirement, female can be part of the capitalist production relation. In this sense, when the entire economy itself operate from the capitalist mode of production, the organization and its working relationship also operate in the same sense, and they considered female as a reserve army, and they try to place the female in the lowest of the lowest position within an organization. That is the second important point we must understand with regard to gendered organization. So thus the presence of hierarchies within an organization necessitates building up a systematic theory of gender and organization. That is the main reason that the feminists, they work on the organization, because of the already we have discussed, whatever the points we have discussed, based on that the feminists, they worked within an organization. In this situation, what would it do? Like, when we talk about the gender theories, and feminists, they worked within an organization to bring any organization as a gendered organization. This once we start working on an organization, and once we start building theories related to organization from a gender perspective, such a theory would help one to demystify the gender segregation of work, including division between paid and unpaid work, which is partly created through the organizational process. That we need to understand. Then organizational process also create a gender segregation related to status and income inequality between men and women. So that's what in the beginning itself I was talking about, the significance of studying any organization from a gender perspective. Thus the theorization would help us to understand the process, how the entire organizations work to unlock the system of gender inequality. That is the second significant point. We must understand that. When you talk about the organization, organizations are spaces where cultural images of gender are invented, nurtured and reproduced. Whatever we are nurturing in the society and other social institutions, like the roles of male members, roles of female members, how they have to operate, what are the roles expected from the male members, what are the roles expected from the female members, how the capitalist society considered male as a breadwinner, that model, and male, they are supposed to go out and work, and whatever they earn, it is valued, and whatever the work they perform, that they could able to exchange and they get a monetary benefit. But as far as women's work is concerned, they are mostly involved in either they were part of the informal sector, even if within an formal sector, if the women work, they may not be work in a decision making level or highest level. They may occupy at the lowest position. These are the issues we could able to unravel through by theorizing the existing organization. And one must know the organizational culture, how the production relationship operates within an organization culture. Thereby we could understand gender construction within an organization. That is important. Next important point one must know is that identity creation is also part of the organizational process. Especially when you talk about the masculinity, most of the time organization itself considered as a masculine institute, where in which the gender theorization of organization would also help researchers to realize the feminist project of making large-scale organization more democratic, more supportive human goals. For example, when we talk about the gender theory within an organization, it also facilitates comprehension about how dominant identities are created and legitimized. Like for example, masculine identity, how it has created within an organization, this creation of masculine identity, how it helps the organization to reflect the existing societal culture. Those things, once we understand that, we can try to bring certain changes within an organization. For changing that organization, the feminists also, they have created the feminist organization, in that they try to bring democratic values, as well as they try to support each other. That is the main feminist goal. They want to create an organization where they could able to follow certain feminist principles and feminist values. Before we further get into gender theory related to organization, let us see history of feminist debate on organization. In the early, radical feminist critique of sexism denounced bureaucracy and hierarchy as a male-created and male-dominated structures of control that oppresses women. As I have already mentioned, part of the feminist project was to create non-hierarchical, egalitarian organization that would demonstrate possibilities of non-patriarchal ways of working. Also, many feminist organizations, they could able to create, and some of them have survived, some of them not able to survive. And here the debate is, within a feminist organization, most of the time the women, they were not able to cooperate within in each other. So thus it was recognized that critical perspective on organization, although focusing on control, power, exploitation, and how these relations might be changed, and whether they have ignored women and have been insensitive to implications of gender. These are the issues the feminist theory and feminist debate could able to discuss, and they could able to bring the certain theory related to gender and organization. Like popular approaches to organizations, mostly any approaches, even if you read about the organization, you could most of the popular approaches, they focus on male, and male is an abstract individual, and they are intellectual domain, and take as reality the world as seen from their standpoint. Whatever the male perspective, the organization also try to reflect the same. Since men in an organization takes their behavior and perspective to represent the human, the organizational structures and processes are theorized as gender neutral. In this process, organization structure separate itself from the people. Like for example, when it is acknowledged that men and women are affected differently by an organization, it is argued that gendered attitudes and behaviors are brought essentially gender neutral structures. That is what. Another significant point they failed to discuss is that regarding the sexuality. In that sexuality also discourses also, which ignored by the existing theories of organization. They believe that gender neutral structure is also asexual. If the sexuality is the core component of the production of gender identity, gender images and gender inequality, organizational theory that is blind to sexuality does not provide the framework to understand gender domination. That is, specifically we have to talk about the how the masculinity is really play a significant role in any organization. That is, a masculine ethic of rationality and reason can be identified in the early image of managers. If you talk about any head of the organization, you could able to see that there is a masculine image. This masculine ethic elevates the traits assumed to belong to men with educational advantages to necessitates for effective organization, to tough-minded approach to problem, and analytic abilities to abstract and plan, a capacity to set aside personal, emotional considerations in the interest of task accomplishment, a cognitive superiority in problem solving and decision making. I unquote. This is the theories of organization bureaucracy. Earlier it is considered as a gender neutral, but in reality it is not gender neutral. These organization, like existing theories, they considered any organization as reflects the, mostly these organization reflects the male perspective. That's why the feminists analyze the existing organization. The first feminist to analyze the existing organization is the Rosabeth Kanter in early 1987. In her work, she has brought a significant theory called critical mass theory. In that critical mass theory, she could able to talk about the significance of increasing women's representation in any organizations. If we increases certain percentage for the women's representation in any organization, that will reflect the needs of the both the gender. Specifically, she was giving the certain numbers. For example, minimum if any organization, a particular gender should be minimum they have to occupy in 33%. For example, if there is any male dominated organization, minimum there should be 33% female should be there. Then that organization could able to reflect the needs of the both the genders, then we can consider the particular organization certainly reflect the both the genders needs. Hope you could able to understand the significance of discussing organization from a gender perspective. When we do some other session, there we could further talk about the feminist analysis of organization, and if we could able to bring changes in the existing organization from a gender perspective, what are the benefits we could able to bring within an organization will also be discussed in some other session. Thank you so much for listening this session. Thank you.